We got 14 different awesome Marvel Snap decks to cover today, gamers, from the best decks for Ezekiel to the things I personally have been climbing the most with, to undiscovered gems on the untapped tracker with impressive stats, and of course, the generically best things by the numbers. Let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? We kick off with my favorite Ezekiel Sims list today that uses every bit of this new card, Buffalo. This is a 2/2 that jumps around when you play a higher power card at his location, meaning he is a new 2 energy play that helps Batroc maneuver around the board. He's also a phenomenal 2 energy enabler for Superior Spider-Man, who alongside Luna Snow gives us 2 different ways to get extra energy going into that 4th turn of the game. This means that we're able to play a variety of 5 energy disruptive cards, with Cosmic Ghost Rider and Enchantress standing on their own, with Cannonball having synergy not only with Mercury but also Craven in the event that we're moving something instead of blowing it up. I really like that this deck list utilizes every bit of Ezekiel's identity as opposed to just shoving him in as an afterthought after the fact. That being said, if you want to shove Ezekiel into a deck list where he gets some mileage that has the highest win rate by the numbers, we have this Sauron Shell. While he obviously isn't adding a ton of value here with his movement, this deck list is able to go ahead and scale him up to be quite large, since 10 power things can keep him jumping all the way up into the double digits himself. He's definitely an afterthought here, though. If you don't have Ezekiel, this core has been putting up numbers in Marvel Snap for a number of months now, and you can still play it even without our latest card release. Moving into my Jeff's picks for the week, we have the Activate Surfer deck list that's been making the rounds in a few content circles. I've been absolutely loving everything this deck has to offer, with your ability to Prodigy Jocasta in tandem with Omega Sentinel or any of our other activates to absolutely blast massive stats away from your opponent's board or add them to ours. Notable inclusion in this deck list is Sparky, who not only moves cards around but gives them +3 power. This, in tandem with Sam Wilson's shield, can allow you to ping pong it all around the board on the last turn of the game, scaling Sam and the shield up 3 points for every time you activate it. This deck is also playing Mercury in its tech card slots as a secondary way to be able to move things and add points to the board with Sparky. You're not all in on the activate plan either, since you also have these disruptive elements in tandem with Silver Surfer and Sebastian Shaw, letting you put stats on the board in a traditional Silver Surfer way. This deck list does require a lot of pretty specific cards, and I do think you need the Activate package, which has a lot of niche, mediocre cards in it otherwise, in order to play it at full power level. My second Jeff's pick is a lot more substitution friendly in this Wiccan Warlock core. This deck list is a nice mix of proactive stats that you can slam down, as well as some disruptive elements with Shadow King and Cosmic Ghost Rider. The kind of core idea of this deck is you have 4 1 energy plays, and then Dominoes guaranteed on 2, and then Snow Guard's 3 drops generated, or Warlock or Luna Snow can fill the curve out nicely for Wiccan to still be active when you play him on the 4th turn of the game. As far as must-have higher series cards in this deck go, I think I'd go so far as to say Wiccan and Luna Snow are the only absolute must-haves. Jim Hammond Human Torch could be another proactive one, such as Korg, Iceman, or Black Cat. Warlock can be other filler 3s, and Cosmic Ghost Rider and Galactus can be other bombs at the top end of your curve, such as an Enchantress for Disruption, or a Red Hulk or Magneto for another big stat stick. If you want to see gameplay with this deck list, keep an eye out on my deck highlights channel that I'll link in the video description down below. Later this weekend, I had a killer set with it running through the 90s. Before we dig on into the high potential list, I'll give a quick shout out to my longtime sponsors, Into the AM. They make all the graphic shirts you've seen me modeling in the ticker throughout this video, and the awesome cozy graphic hoodie that I'm wearing right now. It's cold here in the Midwest these days. They've got a November sale going on right now with pretty solid discounts in a lot of their catalog, and my Hoaglandia code/link can save you a little bit extra on top of that. If you want to pick up the perfect gift for someone this holiday while also supporting my stuff, be sure to check them out by using my link in the video description down below. For those who aren't familiar with my roundups, high potential deck lists are ones that have promising stats on the untapped tracker, but they're in smaller sample sizes. They could be the next big thing or a new breakout deck, but they could also normalize a little bit as their sample size grows larger. Our first high potential deck list this week is a total blast from the past with Patriot Surfer. This deck list has lots of great targets for both Absorbing Man as well as Ironland, with Mr. Sinister and Brood both being excellent ways to break extra power off these bodies into single locations that then get buffed up by Patriot, or in Broodling's case, get buffed by Silver Surfer. This deck list has a pretty deadly 1-2 punch at the top end of its curve, where your final turn of the game can be 2-3 energy plays, i.e. a Patriot and a Surfer, or a Shaw and a Surfer, or you could be blowing away something your opponent has with an Alioth, keeping them on their toes as to whether or not you're going to be pumping up stats or disrupting what they have going on. Our next high potential deck list is one of the sloppiest things in today's roundup, featuring 1, 2, 3, 4.5 kind of different tech cards, depending on how you think of Fenris Wolf, who technically is disruptive against things like Hela and Ghost Rider. This core of Victoria hand backed up by a Fenris Wolf package is something that saw play when Fenris Wolf was previously a 2 energy card, and it's interesting to see it creeping back up into the metagame. Now, I would definitely say part of this fact is that Shadow King and, believe it or not, even Shang-Chi, I think, are a little bit better position than they have been in a little while, with things like Man Spider introducing new go big combo decks to the metagame that these interactive bits really reward you for having right now. If you prefer a more proactive form of disruption, this Terrax Darkhawk build features tempo gameplay where you play to the board early and often and then disrupt your opponent by loading a massive amount of rocks up into their deck. Not only do we have Korg and Terrax, but we have Rock Slide in the 4 energy slot as well. I absolutely love the inclusion of Quake in here as an additional techie card to be able to disrupt your opponent with locations that are going to be randomly flipping up on the board. Notable call out here is that Mystique as a 3 energy play following up your Darkhawk pairs very well with a 1 energy play such as Korg or Hydra Bob, as well as Quaker Lizard on that final turn of the game. As we move towards playing in the deep end of the high potential pool, we have a Misery Thor's variation here featuring Jennifer Kale as a means of enabling a turn for Sarah to give you discounts on your cards. This deck list is also leveraging Magic to get a 7th turn of the game, giving you more time to draw your hammers for big combo finishes. I like the inclusion of additional tech cards in this build alongside Magic, because giving those combo decks extra time to set up means you're going to want efficient ways to knock them down, which this deck is capable of doing with Shadow King, Killmonger, and obviously Rogue as well. Our last high potential deck list today is a Cerebro 5 list. While Cerebro is no stranger to these best deck roundups since it was buffed to give +3, 5 is not a number that it very frequently shows up with. I really love the innovation of Silver Surfer First Steps in this deck list, allowing you to slam Dr. Doom on the last turn of the game and create not just 1 but 2 sets of Doom bots in the other locations. This big burst of power is something that's going to be difficult for a lot of your opponents to account for. Filling up the board really firmly like this is also really good at mitigating Martyr's downside, who can't move if you've locked the other 2 locations with a full 4 cards at each. There aren't really any surprises in our top performers this week, i.e. deck lists that have a solid sample size and have a proven track record of being powerful in Marvel Snap. The most popular, floating at around a 3 to 7% play rate, depending on how I slice the data on Untapped, is definitely Legion Lockout still. End of Turn is a deck list that probably has the lowest play rate of all of our top performers right now, but it actually has the second best performance metrics behind the Lockout deck. This really feels like a deck list that people just put down after it got nerfed so many times, but by the numbers, it's still an excellent performer in the metagame. We also have a Misery variation of Victoria hand, which is also leaning on key interactive card Shadow King, which I would wager is one of the better positioned tech cards in our current meta, along with Quake to cheese out some wins. Wiccan Ajax is a deck list that's floated around the fringes of the metagame for some time now, and it has solid performance and play rate metrics in the last week. Last but certainly not least, we've got a Spider-Punk deck list in here, with Scream being an excellent way to counter opposing Spider-Punks, and this deck list is sneakily disruptive with things like Spider-Man, Stegron, Polaris, and even Cannonball, allowing you to reposition your opponent's stuff around the board, frequently messing up a number of careful sequencing things that your opponents are looking to set up. As always, I'd love to hear what you've been enjoying and finding success with in Marvel Snap. Personally, I've been taking it pretty slow and easy on my climb back to Infinite. I'm somewhere around the mid 90s, and I've been splitting my time playing more competitive deck lists like Activate Surfer and Wiccan Warlock, as well as dorking around in Conquest, testing out more off-meta brews that are being highlighted daily on my uploads channel 7 days a week. As always, I appreciate everybody that made it all the way through to the end of today's video. Be sure to smash the like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel so we see you back again in the future. Also, one more shout out to Into the AM for constantly keeping me in warm and awesome clothing. Be sure to check out their November sale using my link in the video description down below to save 10% off additional by using my code HOGLANDIA. Stay safe out there, folks, and I hope your next snapback is an excellent one.